the supremest enjoyment. This is Patron Adramola Luafemi, father of Ilya Gratiba. Seems to say, Palace of Credibility in particular. This is a documentary based on Jakande Fellowsis Convergence, a convergence that has been in existence for over 30 years. It was founded in April 1989 by Emumuyiwa Ogurotunde, who was initiated into the club in 1986 at Ilya Olumo by Chief Benga, now a patron. Patron Muyiwa Oke was patronized by Chief Olagunju Olawale Solution Zeno Lacoste in 2019-2020. Jakande Fellowsis Convergence is affiliated to Ilya Lacoste, Lagos State University of Science and Technology, Isolo. Initially, the affiliation letter was submitted and approved during the reign of late Chief Romeo, but along the line, the letter got missing and was not found in the archive of Ilya Lacoste. Chief Demola and Chief Olagunju Waziu Zeno Lacoste advised the Convergence to reapply for documentation purpose, which they later wrote another letter of affiliation. The letter was written by Patron Opa, who was the second coordinator of the 10th. It was during the reign of Cod Olurombi the Jakande Convergence was affiliated to Ilya Lacoste officially in July 24, 2018. Olurombi was re-inducted as Convergence official coordinator, which the AB ward of that Kegia, Chief Idowu Abdulawa Olasheun Oluprosper, came down to Lagos to bless him as the AB coordinator of that Convergence, and also blessed the Convergence to be recognized affiliated to Ilya Lacoste. When Cod Olurombi was inducted officially the second term, about 18 AB chiefesses were in attendance, including the AB ward. It was during the Kegia of Chief D. Zeno Lacoste. The Convergence is located at Jakande Estate, Okeafa, Isolo, Lagos, blessed by the late Chief Romeo of blessed memory of Lacoste. Some of the first set of Grand Council Lords are late Elder Fashino from Kadnapoli, Patron Laja, Patron Abayomi Opa. Jakande has taken the office of the Feder, that is the secretary, twice in the Eco Forum of Codices. The first time was during the reign of Patron Opa, who reigned for 10 years. The second time was during the Kegia of Cod Olurombi before he was voted as the chairman of Eco Codices Forum. During Cod Olurombi reign, he brought the unity between the chiefesses and the codices together, which led to the Council of Eco Hemisphere Chiefesses to approve and bless the binding of the codices so that they can also have the right to their own decision and to be on the high table alongside chiefesses at any functions. The Convergence has produced 12 highly carried codices which have kept the strength of the Convergence alive. Some of the past and present codices of the Convergence are the likes of Cod Muyiwa Oke, Pioneer, Cod Abayomi Opa, Cod Laribaba, Cod Jegede, Cod Dabiri, Cod Wahab, Cod Adibayo Adeniyi, Cod Lekon, and Cod Additional Ezekiel. Convergence has enjoyed so many memorable moments aside from the tapping days that brings back good old memories to each souls that attend their tappings. Some of them are when the Convergence elected secretary, that is the Feder in the Lagos Hemisphere, when the Cod Olurombi reigned as chairman Eco Codices Forum, the Obengs, celebration of bonification within the Fellowsis in the Convergence, and serious mutation for progress of the Convergence are always basking. The name of the Convergence, Jakande, is maintained as the situated area for the Convergence. The Convergence was first located at Ugu bus stop before it was taken to Okeafa School, Ile-Iwe bus stop, later to First Junction. Later, it was taken to Summary Rain School, Nepa bus stop, later to Patron Muyiwa Oke Zone, before it was finally moved to Central Mosque by Cod Olurombi, where they are tapping presently. From inception, every Sunday evening is Jakande Convergence Market Day. The tent is always experience overflow during the market days, with many external visitors to witness the gyration. Some of the achievement of the Convergence is the capability the Convergence invoked into Agbam raids that passed through the Convergence. The likes of Patron Abayomi Opa, who became a well-known musician. Late Lekon Shobawale of blessed memory, who also became a musician. Lekon was widely known as a disabled musician before his dismissed. Lekon became secretary to performing musician in Lagos State. There is also a carried senior fellow from Jakande Estate Convergence in South Africa who's also doing wonderfully well. The first palm wine seller at the Convergence was a male accountant called Olomi, still alive but is aged. The Convergence had 4 other accountants who are still alive. Some of the notable advances and chiefesses the Convergence has hosted are the likes of late Chief Romeo, one of Ilya Lacoste, AB World 2014-15 Kegia, AB World 18-19 during the induction of Cod Olurombi, Chief Drummond of National Headquarters, still attending, Pioneer Potato, Chief Kolade Owo, Pioneer Chief of Jakande Fellowsis Convergence, is also alive. Life Senior Fellow Rose Odijigo, Archival Chief from Ilya Dubensu, still coming. Lacoste Chief, Chief Demola Shita Eniafe, Zeno Koresh, Chief Oraku Oyemekun, LSF Orugbo Shegundairo, LSFDG, Archive Chief Victor Ilya Lagoon, and other carried coordinators from the Eco Hemisphere, late Elder Fashional from Kadnapoli, Patron Laja, and so many other Natiblaski Agban. Some of the past elder of the Convergence are the likes of Elder Debo, Flaming or Captain, now a patron, Elder Aramide Salty, now a patron, Elder Owo Owa, Elder Sukomi, and the present elder.
My name is Chief Ademola Adeniyi. I reigned in 99, 2000 KG as a chief. And I attended the same Ilya Lacoste as a chief of Ilya Lacoste, Lagos State Polytechnic, now Lagos State University of Science and Technology, Ikorodu. Yes, what inspired me to join Kega's Club on the day I got admission to the Polytechnics, there was a welcome gyration for the fresher. So I saw them beside the school auditorium. I romanced them and I loved the way they welcomed us then. So I decided out of my own decision that this is the best club that I have to join. When I was in secondary school in my hometown, there was a palm wine, a woman that said palm wine. That was 1985. Around that 1985, they came to that stand to gyrate. After they gyrated, I said, oh, these people were so lovely. I'll need to join this club. Not knowing that it's a university club, Polytechnic club, Institution General. So it was Ilya Oyemekun that came to do gyration then, that 87. So I've already picked on to that. So getting admission, it was easy for me that this was the club I saw in my father area in Akure. Now I'm in Lagos. The club is existing in Lagos. I have to join this club. That was what prompted me to belong to Kega's Club. I was initiated by late Chief Romeo of Ilya Lacoste. The full name of Chief Romeo is Chief Rafiu Akinkome, aka Romeo. Before I was picked as a AB select, it was tough, but we were four in number, and that was when Ilya Lacoste was running 4 campuses. We have Ikosi campus, we have Ikorodu campus, we have Isolo campus, and the 4th one we have Surulere. So I was the only one as Somoba from Iko's campus as an engineering student. We have two from Isolo and we have one from Ikorodu. So the adversity was so tough. But before then, when I came in as a comrade, when I was defellowized, being a Shendiwan, my portfolio was C4G. I was a C4G of the Commissioner for Gyration. Then there was no interest because the logic then, I saw the trend that Chief Agbaje, which has to be my direct father, was from a solo campus. I don't even have elders representative from Ecos, neither from any other campus. All what I do is that I come to Gyration, I enjoy myself, I go home. I don't want to know what they call either chief or no chief. I will leave. I stay at Oshodi, close to Isolo. Once I leave K2, I always leave K2. I carry my bag on Thursday evening. I'll be in hostel Monday to Wednesday. But on that Thursday evening, I'll be in Isolo. I will gyrate and I move on. Friday, no lecture, I'll be at home. So, not knowing that those elders that are interested in Edacity are saying, looking at what you are contributing or your contribution to the area in general. So that Edacity was so tough that they had Edacity almost 3 times because I don't have any elder who want to nominate or neither speak on for me. But unfortunately, there are some elders from the Solo campus that came out to speak for me and stood and stand that, oh, this is the only person who can do it. So that was what caused the cataclysm on the first aborted Edacity, when personal interest was shown among the 4 of us. We have someone, they gave that one, I was commissioner of gyration, that one was HOD, so we just 4 of us. So unfortunately, they now say, okay, this Edacity, we are going to have it on plain day, Saturday, where all the Omoba will not even be in campus. So unfortunately, they had the Edacity. I was at home when I have the message that, oh, you were the one that was picked. And I was picked, by glory of God, I was the first engineering student to become a chief from Ilya Lacos, and the first person to be coordinated from Ikosi campus without any Edacity. Edacity is representing from my campus. So that's why when I was coronated on the 7th of May 1999, the name called Destiny appeared. That is to say, Àyànmọ́ kò gbógun orí lẹ́lẹ́jọ́, orí tó bá máa dádé kò ní ṣaláì dádé, remain my case. That is it. I was blessed with the council of justice at Iliadu Survey, Oyo. That's Federal Institute of Surveyor, Oyo. I was coronated on the 7th of May 1999. The next function was 14th of May at Iliadu Survey. The logic we have there, you know, I told you earlier on, we have 4 campuses. And we have to run the 4 campuses so that we have some intending comrades. The major campuses that have the administrative then was the Solo. We have the Surulere as environmental. We have the Ikosi campus as engineering student, while we have the Ikorodu campus as School of Agriculture. So, and we pick a days to gyrate. We gyrate on Tuesdays at the Ikosi campus, Wednesday Ikorodu campus, while the Thursday is the main Isolo campus, and the Surulere we also gyrate every Fridays. So what we do to make it easy, we try to elevate and appoint a coordinator so that the coordinator will be in charge of those campuses. So whether you like it as AB chief of an area like us, you have to appear, no matter the case may be, twice in a month to ask the coordinator how is the affair of the area going. So you need to give the humility and freedom for all the coordinators of those 4 campuses by giving them the forms of how making the sales to intending. So the area where we always concentrated on is when the fresher has come in, chief need to go round so that you can confuse those freshers that this is the only club you can belong to. And you're able to appoint at the welcome generation, the fresher, how the student union government took the welcome party to the 4 campuses, you also will follow them to the 4 campuses, then to win the soul of those intending comrados. Then appoint the coordinator, telling the coordinator that try to make the sales for the forms, giving the coordinator a target that, oh, please get us at least 30 intending comrades, 30 intending comrados. So during that note, once you have a 13 in Solo, you have 13 in Ikos, you have 13 in Korodu, you have 13 in Sule, you already have more than almost 120 for intending. So that is when you have a confidence to pick. We call it we use in our kege as initiation to call for the mass initiation. These are the logics of anybody who is a chief of village like us. You have to practice that will make you to have enough comrade. You give them freedom of humility. Just give your coordinator right to perform on your behalf. And mind you, don't let the money of the firm so tedious, so outrageous that all those intending comrades will not be able to free them. I can recollect during our own, we collect 100 naira for form. We will say to them that we are going to give you your regalia. So a student around that time will say, oh, is it not 100 naira? We will pay. And your coordinator, on behalf, let your coordinator also use the money to buy pine wine, to generate. Don't run after the money, run after the soul of the comrades that you want to win it. So that is the logic. Yes, a lot of challenges, especially an area that is running in 4 campuses. Okay, let me use my best friend then, late Chief Niyi Adegbola, as an example. He is a chief of Lagoon as my contemporary, a blessed memory. He has 1 campus. He has all the interviews in 1 places. He jarred at his own shrine. He run all his affairs in 1 campus. Now compared to me that I must be in Kosi, I'm already in Kosi as my palace, and I want to be at Isolo on Thursday, and I must romance Ikorodu on Wednesday. Let's look at the logistics. He's a chief, he's a student, no, he's not a working class, and he wants to migrate to all 4 campuses within a week. Education life, social life, and he still want to migrate to a function that comes up for either Friday or Saturdays. So all those challenges, that how do you meet up those campuses to romance the coordinators and give a way forward, and also come back to your own campus to receive lecture and also still generate on the same generation day. These are the challenges that I personally face. And then most functions comes Fridays. It is only some area who have some functions on Saturday. I want to be in Surulere campus to see my coordinator on Friday, and I want to migrate to Iliadu Eteko Ilesha on the same Friday. You can see from Surulere, I will still carry my bag by 6 p.m. and face Ilesha. The security was okay there in Nigeria. We move anytime. So I will still be at Ilesha. These are the challenges which I suppose have migrated during the daylight to have a rest, but I will still be on road around 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. because I want to be at Ilesha. And I will go there, still process at normal time, leave on Saturday after the coronation. Sometimes I will be at Iliadu Teko Mini Tapi till 5, 6, and we are still going to Iliadu Rona, and we enter road. Everybody know how the Abeokuta road is. So these are the area where the challenges for most especially we practice multi-campuses there. If you don't initiate from Ikosi, you don't initiate from Surulere, you don't initiate camaraderie from Ikorodu, Ilya Lagos will tell you you have not done well. You must have comrades on all 4 campuses. That is when they will say, oh, for next keg year, they will be able to have a coordinator appoint, elevate, so that the trend will be going up. That's exactly what is happening.
Thank you very much.
So financial aspect of it is the key. Yes, we do practice something then, which I introduce. And to introduce it that because I was at Ikosi campus Tuesday, once the lecture goes down around 3 p.m. Being the school that doesn't have an hostel, at that time we're already at the gyration point. Then we meet. We throw it as question and answer. So all comrades, you can ask question. Chief Demola is here to answer you. So, and Lacoste entity love question. They love asking you as a poser. If you are not carried enough, they will throw you down. They will ask questions that you have not even heard before. Then being a chief that you are already conversant to your selection, you're able to give them the answer that, oh, yes, chief. So they will quote you. Lacoste comrade will quote you that chief so say said. You see some comrade of Ilya Lacoste will tell you that it's a lie. Chief Demola said, Chief Correct said. They will quote you because they will ask you, is Lacoste chief, is Lacoste comrade that will go to conference that will evangelize a chief that do you know who am I? And that chief we thought is a chief. Because we build confidence to tell them that once they evangelize you in any question, let them know where you are coming from. So we do have interaction on meaning tapping day. We create room for question and answer to interact. So that this means them to have a carried spirit to relate with any comrade in all over the galaxy. We open room for comrade entity of Ilya Lagos. Let me first use this estate convergence as an example. Ilya Lagos only have 2 convergences then. That we met as comrade, we also met as chief. We have Olosun convergence at Mushin, and we have this estate. The Olosun convergence was constituted by even a chief before Romeo. The Romeo, I think Chief Romeo, late Chief Romeo was living within this estate then. Then he introduced this estate to be blessed. So we were comrades then. Along the line, the Olosun also carried, estate convergence is also carried. The only 2 convergences that are affiliated to Ilya Lagos then. So after Chief Romeo left estate, I think it was slowed down. You know, when a residential chief leaves, the convergence will be slowed down unless the interest of a chief comes in again. A lot of convergence was picking up because they moved down to Mushin. I can still recollect SF Legacy, Chief Romeo, Chief Said, Odukoya. They were like 5 in Lagos chiefs. They were living within the Mushin. So far away, estate was down low. So When we became a chief, distance also did not make us to rebrand estate. So fortunately, we have Chief Shita of Ilya Lagos that was also grassroots of estate. Then when he came on board as a chief, pulled estate out back again to life. Then Olosun Convergence has already kwashi. When those our fathers left Olosun, and the venue of Olosun Convergence, the property was sold off. So no room for gyration, no room for moving on again. So that was how Olosun Convergence kwashi. And glory be to God, the estate was rebuilt and rebirthed back during the Chief Shita. And here we are today. Let me say, I would say thanks to our patron, the first coordinator that was inducted in this when he started related with Lagos Chiefs again, from Shita, Chief Shita to Chief Zino, and his Chief Zino direction as Chief Koresh. Build back Olosun today is the effort of the patron that he is not going to die the way the Olosun Convergence did. So as of today in Lagos Council, we only recognize Estate Convergence and Iyaniwura Convergence at Ikorodu. That is much what I can say presently as Lagos Chiefs Council today. The only two recognition convergence affiliated to us are Iyaniwura Convergence and the Estate Convergence. Compliance to all the rules what Silation said about affiliated convergence. The only two convergence that still bind with the rules and Silation that bind affiliated convergence. So I don't know the year, if 2 or 3, 4 year that estate was only done by when they feel like gyrating, they will call themselves to gyrate. It was not loud that if they want to do an induction, council must be on ground, the prioritization must loud. But when Chief Shita came on board, pick up, and being the kind of person he's supposed to, I think he's still living in this estate, so he's supposed to be the one to trend it. When he became an SYZ, the tension tempo was down, little down. So but when patron also say that, oh, is the foundation of this estate, when he's still alive, he don't want it to become a kwashi convergence. He struck out to came out that, oh, we need to rebuild this. So but glory be to God, here we are today. Estate has come to stay and come to life. Yes, Chief Romeo, late Chief Romeo. If I want to give you the full name, Chief Rafiu Akekumi, aka Romeo. Aji Romeo.
Can you please
Blessed memory.
Just probably 3 lines about him.
Yes, let me say he's a Songito chief. He's also a dramatized chief. He don't like a dull moment, and he's a chief that if you are talking about, you are here quoting selection, we tell you that leave that one, let's enjoy ourselves. He like when you enjoy, gyrate, and feel okay than doing a dull moment. So he doesn't like when you are in the gathering with him that he will not tell you that he doesn't act. He's not a act person. He gives rooms for people to relate with. And if I'm not mistaken, he's a well-known chief during his own career, because once anywhere he is, you will know that late Chief Romeo is Arandua. That's what I can easily speak about.
Thank you very much.
My take, I always believe something that's protocol, and all protocol need to be observed. It's a good idea when you see yourself that you are affiliated to an area. Anything you want to do concerning convergence, has to pass through the council of that area. It's a standard so that we won't have a function to collide. If a convergence want to have something to do, if for instance an induction or a fellowship generation, if you are saying you want to do it quarterly or weekly, what if you don't liaise with the area and the function of the area now collide with the convergence function? We give birth to convergence. Convergence is our brother, fellowship is there our leaders. So we have to romance each other by the level of say, oh, we have this thing in program. You write to Ilya. Ilya, we have a Lacoste always have two mutation, traces mutation in a keg. We have in first semester, we will also have in second semester. Any pending issue on first semester will be treated at the second semester. There is no how a convergence will write an Ilya that will not get a feedback. I don't know other Iliases. You will surely get a feedback. If you draw a program that SA Convergence want to have this thing doing, Ilya Lacoste Council, what is your take? We need your support. Are we not going against what the selection said or what the bylaws said? So this will now bring us on the same page. Having done a function of quarterly, if I may say, I heard about it, I didn't buy the idea of making it quarterly. There is no how you will program a function quarterly. People will be tired. A function of 3 months. Let's forget about the logistics, the money surrounding. The people that you wanted them to attend the function. You want it to be a quarterly function. How do you want them to plan for the function so that they will be attending the function? You need people contributing to the function. You have to give them enough time. If I may suggest, it's a welcome good idea. Is it not better for the convergence to say, okay, in advanced generation, between January to June, we will pick one day. And the advert, the prioritization will start from the January to that June. So that every Iliasis in Eko will know that there is going to be a function in estate that are affiliated to Lacoste, and this function has already tagged. We give it a name, and it's going to come up as first 6 months. Wow. Even though if any Ilia want to coronate, they will say estate function is already prioritized. Another second phase, we may tag that one phase 1. The second one, phase 2. Then we'll look at the phase 2 date. When do we need to put it? Then we'll pick it. So the estate convergence will now be, let's look at, there was a function that always done in Alimosho zone. It was called Metusela gyration then. They always do it as Sankor. All of a sudden, yeah. And that function was once in a year. You can see, at the end of the day, it was cashy. No continuity. Talk less of the ones you want to do quarterly. So it's better if we are going to see it. Oh, between 6 months, which festival do we have? Do we have Easter? Do we have Eddie Fidri? Do we have Ilya? Do we want to even pick a neutral day prioritizing? But the first phase will come between January to June. Then we're able to say we have a successful function. Now, second phase. Having it twice in a year, there's nothing bad in it. What other convergence cannot do, SA can do better. But when you have a function treating quarterly, monthly, even Redeem Church of God that is doing Holy Ghost every month, people are tired to attend. Not to talk of Convergence. So it's always when you give space. Oh, January, all the advance in estate. Your tax for the first quarter generation, 20,000, 10,000. You know, people will say, oh, I'll pay for my first phase. Second phase, before you know, it become a peak one. which other convergence cannot do. I will advise the advance of the convergence to look into it. We are saying in February, we can still do the first phase. Let them write the Ilia through the AB chief. He will surely present it to the council and we will reply the convergence. I love the question. If I'm going to come out clearly, I'll first flashback during the reign of my son, Chief Zeno. The effort through the patron as the first pioneer coordinator of this convergence was very, 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 very workweek. And the workforce then, I don't like convergence. It's my personal, I don't attend convergence. I don't like going to convergence function. Why? I'll say it out. I see convergence very rude. They are not compliance. So I always against them on compliance level. But when it comes to estate, I see the compliances in them. Once you said the Ilias said they will stand on it. Estate is number one. Even when the General Council made a selection, we wrote a letter. Ilias Lagos wrote a letter to estate. Then estate complies and they reply. That was why I said we believe in estate convergence and Iyaniwura convergence. Those are the two that complied, that replied in line of selection. Until today, they are still complying. So where I'm coming from was Zeno has done a lot, and the patron, which is the first coordinator, also did it by having some advance that those, when they were EB chiefs, they related with. I recollect one, an officer man. He even attended our coronation at Oshodi. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, he's a naval officer or I don't know. Related together, and the role, effort, contribution that estate convergence always do to LACOS functions is one to talk about. Their contribution, once LACOS said they want to do coronation, even though if you don't ask, they will say this is what they have. They will contribute. From the list of our shrine contribution today, we have estate convergence, what they contributed. You see, go to some Iliases, they were affiliated. Convergence were affiliated to Iliases. You will never see any 1 naira of the convergence in the development of the Ilia. Estate is not that. Iyaniwura should be. Two of them we should, even 1 naira, their name will be on the payroll of Ilia Lacos. So if I may say 10 years time, we want to talk about the future. I will first advise the estate convergence to try and be unite. Try to be having Fellowsis council mutation. If once in a month, it will always bring development to the convergence. That is when they will know what they lack and what they need. By virtue of doing that, they won't be where we are. There is nothing bad as we are here today. If estate convergence that have been existing when I was in 100 level to come out and set a sound system owned by them, they are working class. We should not compare them with a student level. Having 2 speakers on ground, put the engine on the generator, we start generate with a sound system, not to rent. Every Sundays, and after finishing it, we put it back to the accountant stand. It's not too much. We can go, we can plan it, we can do a launching towards it. It's a great thing that I'm thinking that in the next 10 years is too much. I would say in the next 5 years, other convergence should come here to come and say, go to estate, Jakande, Estate Fellowsis Convergence and see what happened there every Sunday. I want to advise the advance of this estate Convergence to look into it. We can go to Alaba after do launching. We have a microphone, we have engine, we'll buy the generator, we'll be generating with the engine. I see estate is what they can achieve it. That the studio, if you are at home, you say, oh, I must get to estate Convergence because they don't generate without sound system. I see that is what they can achieve. I'm not going 10 years. In the next 2 years, is I will advise them to try to make their WhatsApp group very, very serious and coming out to search for people that have interest to join this club within this estate, that we want to have a fellowship generation where we can fellowrize all the intending. We need more advanced, we need more working class that we can easily introduce and attach ourselves to that. This is a fellow of estate, fellowship convergence, fellowrize attached to Ilial Across. Then by having such, how many convergence in a ministry that is doing fellowships like? None. Estate can initiated on this and plan on it that we will have a intending fellow. There's nothing bad if we have 20, 30 that we are coming here to welcome to fellowrize with fully regulated and add them to the group, then advising them to be having at least advanced invitation once in a month for the way forward and development of the convergence. Thank you, amen. Amen. And you too. God bless you. May your days be long.
I remain Emuyomi Ogunbola Abili. What really motivated me is the music and the style of their generation. That is what motivated me, and I think within me that I must join these people. That is how I give the love to Supreme Commander Atalaja. What headquarters Obafemi Awolowo University. Well, it all started when we are back then from school, that every one of us is now a working class. So we now decide to call ourselves together that at least you are a carriable soul, you are a carriable soul. Let us be charity. From there, we now have the initiative of bringing it as a convergence. Then Teti Muiwa is like the acting coordinator by then. But then he's going back to school. We now decided that, what are we going to do? Who is going to lead the mantle of leadership of this convergence that it will not quench? Then they now decide to pick me. And I reigned for 12 years as coordinator of Estate Convergence, which is affiliated to Lagos State Poly. And this tent is blessed and confirmed as a convergence by Chief Late Romeo of blessed memory. After that, Estate started moving on. But after I served for 12 years as a coordinator, I left for Port Harcourt, because then I was working in Nigeria Flour Mill. So I was transferred from Lagos to Port Harcourt. Then I now coordinate, I now induct another coordinator who is Larry Kule Akonde. So after that, I traveled back to Calabar. There's no more challenges because we have like minds. There are like minds. My elder is here, is from Shark, is a captain of a ship. So we relate and we talk together, we move together. Sometimes if I'm not around, we take up the convergence and they will move. And then my sincere appreciation to my 911 is now in Abuja. That is our Minister for Transportation. He make the convergence move from one place to another, from one area to another. So estate convergence was known then because we are mobile. By His grace, we are going higher places because we are going to work on some advice that we are given by Chief Demola in order to move the Supreme Commander at large, particularly estate convergence. I really love it because it's going to bring back the serious and those who know what Supreme Commander is. We will bring them back because in as much as we are going to do it twice in a year, and once there is a solid informatoire from January to the date, I believe we are good to go. And my advice is the present regime should please liaise with the old elders. And moreover, I want this convergence to continue charity every Sunday as usual. So my advice is they should please try and send informatoire out to those who is needed to be called, so that if there is any problem, we will be able to solve it easily and generation will continue.
I remain Chief Chukwuka Victor of Elia de Lagoon, that is to say, University of Lagos. My career was 2001 career, and I was coronated by August 2000, and I reigned up to September 2001. Well, that would be owing to the fact that when I was younger, before I got admission to the higher institution, I used to meet some other people in my area, in my neighborhood then. These two men then, I would say, let me refer to them as men now, used to tinker. So when they greet themselves like that, I'll be like, can you teach me how to do that? And the only answer they'll give me is, when you get to the university or get admitted to any higher institution, they will say, join the Kega Club. I was like, okay. Okay, if you Kega Club agrees to that, I'll say yes. Okay, no problem. But luckily for me, about a few years later, I was able to get again admission to the University of Lagos, and then the first priority, you should understand that my priority then should be how to become a member of the club because of what I used to see and the way they used to sing. You know, I used to enjoy that so much. So I immediately got to the university. In fact, on my matriculation day, I was already initiated already for my matriculation day. So on that matriculation day, I wore my matriculation gown. After which I removed that and then wore my regalia. So it was a very beautiful one that day. I enjoyed it so much. I was initiated under the reign of Chief Adeni Akimurele of Villa Lagoon. Then that was 97 year. Oh well, I was invited here some time ago by the person I used to call him LSF, Muiwa then. But eventually, I think he's the patron now. When he invited me, the first question you should know that I would ask him is, which area are you affiliated to? Because I remember in those days when I was AV Chief Villa Lagoon, I was also the chairman of the Council of Chiefs, Lagos State Hemisphere. You understand? And at that point, I was part of those that decided that we should suspend all convergences, and then all areas should only affiliate 2 convergences under one area. That means we'll have at least 16 in Lagos Hemisphere because of the way convergences were springing up from left and right and all the way and center, then and then. But so when I have to ask him that question is that the reason I have to ask him that question is that I wanted to know if it's duly affiliated to an area, so that I won't go there and gyrate with them without being affiliated to an area, because I won't be able to regulate when I get there, and that would be like a disappointment from my side to them. So they said no, they are affiliated with Ila Course rather. So I said okay, no problem. I will make it a point to be there one of the days, and I came. And then when I met them, they honestly, to be honest with you, they have improved from what I saw when I came the first time, because they were using somewhere else then as their generation ground. And as time went on, when they called me again that look, chief, we have moved from the former place to a newer place now and a more conducive environment. So I said, okay, if you think that place is more conducive, why don't you come and see? So that when I come there and I see and I feel like it's conducive, better than the other one, then I will say, okay, fine. Then we'll be gyrating with you once in a while. So I came over. And then when I saw this place, oh, honestly, it gave me great joy, and I saw the improvement in there. It's a very bright idea, to be honest with you. Having a quarterly gyration is a very bright idea. But the bottom line still remains that how do I put it, conveniences for the members of the Fellowsis Convergence. Would it be convenient for them? Now, let's look at even the religious part of life. That even in churches, I wouldn't tell myself that I go to church every Sunday. There are some Sundays that I'll miss church. You understand? So having a generation on quarterly basis depends on how serious and how highly motivated they are. I see it coming and I see it can be done. You understand? But the bottom line remains, instead of quarterly, maybe why not 6 months, every 6 months, or thereabout, as the case may be. But if they feel they can do it well, because at least it's a fellowship convergence, not an area. You understand? Fellowship convergence means that they are all working class. You understand? So I can see that being done, but they have to approach it with caution. Thank you very much for that question. Like I said initially, when I met them, it wasn't here, and it wasn't like this. You understand? It was something that okay, when I even get there at times, I start making calls, looking for people, looking for the members of the guys convergence to show me where to sit down, or is there going to be gyration or not? You understand? But look at it now. That stopped a few years ago when they changed and moved to this new vicinity, and I saw this vicinity and I'm like very happy about this. And then in the next few years, well, I see greater things happening, because with the way they're always organized and coordinated. You understand? I see greater things happening, and then I see a situation whereby, in fact, there's going to be where would I use it's going to be the generation of ethnic community is going to be loud. You know, like I was a program sometime that said loud in Lagos. You know, so it's going to be loud. You understand? It's a situation whereby we're going to have fellowships coming together, getting some sound instruments, and then all these microphones, the engines, and the rest of them, and then drumming section, because I see commitment in them. So that's one beautiful thing that I saw about them. My advice is they have already started at a pace that I would say is encouraging, and I would want to advise them to keep up the pace. Because if anybody, look, it's like they're saying all for one and one for all. You understand? In a situation whereby one person decides that no, if I'm not there, there's not going to be SA convergence. That cannot be done. You understand? Then the future of the fellowship convergence is going to be thwarted. But if everybody works with hand in glove, I see them achieving greater things. I see them getting there in a few years. It's not actually easy for me to get the community appellation when I was an AB, because I like I said, I am an Igbo man. You understand? So I know that Oriki goes mostly with Yoruba people, but I decided that then, because of the way and the manner with which I became a chief, the circumstances surrounding my becoming a chief, so I called myself one name. Then I said I remain the number one of Akoka land. Now that word the number means that my brother can be an outsider. You understand? Because it was the Yoruba people that fought for me. That's why I thought I was an Igbo. You understand? They all know that I'm an Igbo man. But the way they moved and then agitated that, look, this is the only person that can do that, and this is the only person we want. You understand? So I was very happy. So I was like, okay, that let me give myself that name. They wanted the number one of Akoka land. Because
you continue to grow from Calabria to Calabria.
Maya, my petty, you're very carried. Shine up another me. Thank you very much.
My name is Emmanuel Lumidogu Twimbo, aka Koresh Onifoto, Ebilakos 2019-2020 Kege, Chairman Eko Hemisphere of that Kege, Olon Jedalo the second of Ilialakos. Funny how it is, for a young boy growing up from an African home that loves culture, that loves tradition, and happens to stumble on students that came to charity in the area. I think Anubeng, I don't know if it was Anubeng, but I know it's a party then. And I saw the way people gathered together, they were jollificating, the rhymes of the song, how elevating it was. So on that day, I made a decision that no matter what it takes, whatever is going to take, I must join this club whenever I join the higher institution. That is a Woge chief, world record breaker, Chief Frank Luther Oluwajunwolo, Chief Odu SUG President, Chief Odu Oloyonkupo for those Jakande. Prior to me becoming a chief, I'm a chief that, like my father rightly said in his interview, in Lacos we ask questions. We are very inquisitive, and that is why people used to see us that we know too much. It is not that we know too much, it's because we ask questions. I have asked about a lot of questions, convergences around, and I've got to know about estate long before I became a chief. Unfortunately for me, my father happens to be the one to revive back the estate after a long period of time, which is Chief Adewale Olagunju Wasiu. My bad, I'm not always good with names. Olagunju Wasiu, as Solution Lacos, Chief Zino Lacos. He revived the tent, and so far so good. All through my KG, with the support of my Woge patrons, Patron Muiwa, Patron Flaming, Captain, those men, Patron Upper, Patron Salty, they all stood by me as a chief. In fact, should I say I helped develop estate or estate helped develop me? It's kind of interwoven because it's become at a point, this place becomes an home. I still have videos of we coming here to gyrate every Sunday. Every Sunday I have to be here. So it's like my third tapping because I have to tap twice in a week. So I know, okay, the third place I have to be has to be estate convergence. In fact, wonderfully, estate convergence is a place to be during those periods. And up to this moment, the glory is still Basson strike. I remember telling a co-codices of that KG then that if you want to be recognized, if you want to be reckoned with, you need to do something. You cannot be silent and you want people to interact with you. If you are too silent, people will look at you like, oh, this one, let's just leave him. It's nature. But when you're doing something, that is when people will come in and partake in whatever you're doing. But making it quarterly, I don't think, it might become tiring, and it might become, when you do things too often, people will not really participate the way you want. But when you make it, let's say, maybe twice a year and once a year, it's fine. But you just have to do something. You just have to do something for people to engage. So it's a nice idea. I love it, but not quarterly. If they can make it half a month or once in a year. Wow. During my KG, we had COVID. It was the COVID KG. But a lot of people, I don't know about public opinion, but I know I'm this chief that I'm always welcoming, but I just don't tolerate. There are some things I don't tolerate. People don't see me as maybe I'm a wicked person or something. I just don't tolerate indiscipline. I just want you to, we come, we gyrate, we play when it's time for us to play, and when it's time for us to get serious, let us get to business. So I think a lot of people know me for, I don't know, quite number. I'm not a gyration actually, but when it comes to replaying, I play a lot. Jakande Estate. With the help of Babeli Dumare and with the artillery of that very rugged Ilia that I am from, I do say Ilia Lacos in particular, I see estates convergence going places because ever since we resurrected them back in 2018 or 19, if I'm not mistaken, they really be trying. I see the effort they put in. they do so many things. They do so many things that even me, it amazed me so much. I remember when I wrote down to them that, okay, fine, I know you guys have been affiliated to the Ilia, but I just want you to write a letter of the application. I want you guys to do something. I want you guys to have a record with the Ilia. Like this, as I say, SA Convergence has their own file in Lacoste archive, and they can trace back their roots to the Ilia. So in the next 3 to 5 years, I see them going to places. I see them doing things that are beyond what we used to see in Tega Club of today. My one advice to Estate and my one advice to Convergence as a whole is unity. Unity. We preach unity and diversity. Fine, in places we exhibit it, but unity without love is nothing. So unity. If we love each other, we don't need to preach unity anymore, because the word loves binds everything together. So let us just hold ourselves as one, like we've always been doing. Okay. That would be His Royal Kegistic Majesty Oba Emolu Akorede Olumide Oguntoyinbo Emmanuel. Correct only photo for those that want to die Kodi. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ dáadọ́ the second of the Alakos Chifodu EU for those that want to die Kodi. I say Chifodu is another international doctor for sex. For those that, my grandfather remained Casanova Lacoste. My direct father remained Casanova Lacoste. Why I remain the real Casanova of the Lacoste? I say èmi gangan ni Casanova tí wọ́n sọ.
Jeffrey, you work and stumble up. Thank you very much for having you, and I'm highly delighted to take your time.
My name is Additional Ezekiel Emotional Oguwedele. I was inducted during the reign of Chief Mubarak of Ilia Lacoste. Actually, I've been a lover of drum. I love drum in the gate. So when I wanted to join Kegite Club International, I was motivated by Chief Jimboy, then back in Ikorodu, when they do gyrate in Ikorodu then and the rector of the school will come down from even his car to gyrate, and I see the joy and the unity in diversity then when they are doing it. So when I enter school 2014, 2015, 16, I decided to join. Like, okay, let me, because I have this zeal, I love drumming, I love music, anything music. I'm a fan of music, and I find joy in what I'm doing. So that's what prompted me. It's a great privilege for me as a called in this rugged and carried Convergence, because back then in school, when we were selected as Omoba, that okay, let's as a penultimate to select an AB chief. So, but when someone will reach in life, will surely reach there. Because then when I was not elected as a chief, I think that was just I was elected as a philosopher. It's like, okay, it's not an end of the life. Let me just move on with life. Then after my school section, coming to the Convergence and become the AB called in this Convergence under an umbrella of many wise men. Let me use that. Wise men, when I'm talking about wise men, when you have some people, fetish people, when you have some spiritual and well-grown strong people around you. So you have to put yourself together. At least you make an idea that ọmọdé tó bá mọ ọwọ́ rẹ̀ á bá gbà jẹun. So actually, there's a lot of plan, but we look up to God, Abele Dumari, because financially we beg God for that. So there's a lot of plan around Beninu, but owó ni kò jẹ́. So actually we have plans in, at least even as a called, what would you do we do something in Ilia, even if you are a chief, if you are about to leave, at least you make an impact that okay, during your own reign you make this in this area. So me as a coach, I have this plan in okay, even before leaving this post as a coach, at least you make an impact. Like okay, even if for you to make a calabash status to put it on ground, for you to know that okay, during this reign of AB code, he made this on ground, and I pray to Baba Mary to accomplish all my wills and my needs. Actually, to this convergence, I'm a small boy. You get. So one thing employ everybody to work hand in hand. Anything in diversity remained the case. So let's come together. Where there's love, there's peace and there's rest of mind. So let's work hand to hand. Even if you are saying, okay, this person is not working, you that you are seeing the post that okay, this person is not working in that part, is not working in this post, try to help him. Don't leave it that okay, it's not working, it's not doing his work, let me just leave it and let's just it's a great privilege for me naturally when the pioneer brought the advice the words to me. It's a great privilege actually because it's a medium where we will make this thing known more and to let people know that okay and to have more fellowships in this convergence. So it's a great privilege. It's a great privilege for me. So I just feel that it will work out with God's plan.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, sir.